It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle so they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over Naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo.
Hello there.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará yìí.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun live.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Please, share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them Maiyegun today.
Diary Politico.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Godfatherism.
Tonight we are going to give an update on the justice for Mohbad, especially those who are interested in real justice and they will love what is the updates from everyone's perspective, starting with the police. Share the broadcast. Peter Obi has also rejected the offer of Atiku to join him and then, fight Tifnumbu so that they can save the image of Nigeria. No, you would have to do yours your way. We'll do it our way. Or you would have to forfeit yours and join us all tonight.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun today.
And yes, we like.
Maiyegun today.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun mami.
And yes, right.
Tifnumbu and his own apologists, they are currently on a roll in their own efforts of deflecting the certificate forgery and the consequences. But for Tifnumbu himself, he has maintained a grave silence until this will blow over. So they wish.
Yes, right.
Naira Marley, Sam Larry, and the nurse that injected Mohbad have all been indicted in his death. It's inconclusive, their investigation, but they have a substantial evidence in their, what do you call it, in their involvement in Mohbad's death. I'm going to tell you that tonight. And yes, to remember, share this broadcast, okay? Invite those you think you should be here, right? You can copy the link and then share them on different platforms as well. Then read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well before you finally settle down. Like the broadcast. So easy. We are going to start soon.
And yes, right. And yes, right. And yes, right. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. And yes, right.
There may be distraction about certificate forgery and the consequences upon that. Nigeria is still sinking, even worse than we predicted. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Maiyegun Live, and I bet you have done all of the needful, rather. You have liked the broadcast, you've shared it, you've also sort of get yourself in tune into what we are about to delve into by reading the description of the broadcast. And to those who have done all of that, thank you. Now we're going to take it one after the other. The first part is going to be the police updates on the death of Mohbad. Now, why are we talking about Mohbad on MaiyegunsDiary Politico? For those who are probably just seeing us talk about this for the first time, this is why. Nigeria is a crime scene, and there is a conglomeration of different criminals who are working on different fronts, and at the end of the day, all of them linked to one source, APC. Egbekegbe. We realized that the characters involved in the bullying as well as the effort in covering up the death of Mohbad, as that hit the airwaves at the time, we realized that these are guys who have very strong tie, not just to APC, Egbekegbe, but to Tifnumbu, right at the time that the same Tifnumbu used these same thugs in disrupting and compromising electoral process that has plunged Nigeria into this political quagmire. Their role is so substantial that when their crime or their involvement were made public, a lot of us dug deeper. And our conclusion then was, he will never get justice. because of those involved. Around that time, Nigeria has become so terribly managed, right? That criminals are those who are manning responsible, or what do you call it, powerful institutions who were supposed to be in position to stop these criminals from attaining such powers that they have today. These institutions have been so compromised that Nigerians have learned to live with it. Once you have anybody that has connection to this and that in APC, just leave it. They walk around it, and at the end of the day, they will bury it. A good example is that of Abba Kyari. Abba Kyari happened to be a criminal, a criminal underworld gang leader. He is also, in real life, appeared to be a super cop. When the FBI came for him, it was then the Nigeria criminal system plotted what happened next. The United States of America were, asking for his extraction back to the United States, where a jail term of 22 years awaiting him. But this is a guy that has been fingered in human trafficking, organ trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, robbery, and so many other crimes that he was actually was empowered to stop. These old allegations, they didn't move any of those establishments in Nigeria. They shielded him. He became, an Instagram celebrated cop until that FBI case came. That was when the establishments in Nigeria were interested in him. Because people said if he was to be extradited to America, that the guy could probably open a can of worms on the crime he's managed to help those criminals in power in Nigeria to cover up, and the people they've killed for them. So they designed a sort of a crime. They said, oh, he was caught trying to resell, evidence from a drug bust that could have fetched him hundreds of thousands of US dollars. Therefore, that case would not make it possible for them to let the FBI take him. This was in 2022. FBI requested for him since July 2021. The establishment created that in a way for the whole thing to blow out. And at the end of the day, the NDLEA, we said, oh, sorry, it was a mistake. We made a mistake, and it will be reinstated. That is the kind of system you have in Nigeria. However, there were those who were confident that this is going to be different, and the police would rather shoot themselves on the foot if they try to play prank with people. So last week, Sam Larry returned back to Nigeria. People said probably he's got a deal with the police. Who knows? Before then, a young nurse was arrested. She's Feyishayo Ogedengbe. Now, she was the first person to be arrested because she was the one who administered three dosage of injections, which the police later discovered to be a very, very strong, pain a stimulant or whatever. I'll play you the report. But last week, that Sam Larry returned back to Nigeria. And just this week, Naira Marley himself returned back to Nigeria. And just about 3 days ago or 4 days ago, the same Nigeria police declared another person suspect, Prime Boy. Now that Prime Boy, the reason why the police said they declared him wanted was because he was actually the one who had the last fight with Mohbad in Ikorodu before Mohbad returned back to his Lekki house, where they called on Feishayo, is that Feishayo? Yes, where they called fake nurse Feishayo to come and check on him because he wasn't feeling well. And then she applied 3 injections on him until he completely gave up the ghost. But I am going to play the police report. It is just for the record purpose. Now, I have seen it. Some of you probably have seen it as well. However, for those who haven't, we can all watch it together now. And you can begin to form your own opinion based on the information these guys have to release. They exhumed the body of Mohbad for autopsy. The full toxicology report or full autopsy report are not yet out. But from from interrogation, interview, investigation, they have come to the conclusion that Naira Marley, Sam Larry, Feishayo Gedengbe, and then Prime Boy, they are prime suspects in the death of Mohbad. It is now being treated as an homicide, as they said. They said it's been treated as homicide. But the main and the real suspect for now is Feishayo Ogedengbe, the nurse. I know some of you have said before that they are likely going to have to throw the nurse under the bus. Well, I want you to listen to their reports before you probably will check if your projection is all coming together or not. I'm not saying you should believe the police, but this is their report. Let's take it from there. Yeah, here.
The end goal of this initiative is not only to unravel the circumstances of the singer's death, but to deliver justice for Mohbad. I had, while inaugurating the special investigation team, projected a 2-week timeline for the perfection of the police interim investigation report, with the assurance that members of the public will be kept abreast of investigative progress as much as legally and professionally permissible. I can today confirm that the police interim investigation report is now ready, and this media briefing is being undertaken in fulfillment of our assurances to keep Lagosians, Nigerians, and indeed the international community abreast of the status of the case. This briefing therefore focuses on police investigative actions since the investigation commenced, the interim findings on the strength of facts and of evidential value so far established, and grounds pending further actions in guiding the investigation to conclusion. The investigation process was directed at addressing 2 fundamental questions. Firstly, what are the immediate chain of events that occasioned the death of Mohbad? Secondly, who are the actors that could, within the context of extant criminal law and procedures, be evidentially held criminally liable, either individually or jointly, for the death of Mohbad on 12 September 2023. In addressing the later components of these questions, due investigative actions were focused on the allegations of possible complicity in the death of Mohbad by Abdulaziz Adeshina, aka Naira Marley, and Samson Erinfolami Balogun, aka Sam Larry, who both were widely alleged in the social media of conspiring to serially bully and assault the deceased in his lifetime. It also focuses on allegations of the social media that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency could be complicit in his death, following a viral video in which the late singer raised the narrative of his experience while in custody of the agency prior to his death. The intent of this component of the investigation is to establish if there is any evidential proof to circumstantially or directly link the allegations against Naira, Marley, Naira, and NDLA to the eventual death of Mohbad on 12 September 2023. Police investigative actions. Following the inauguration of the Special Investigation Team, detectives have undertaken the following actions and covered the underlisted investigative grounds. 1. Identification and interview of vital witnesses. As of today, a total of 26 vital witnesses, including the complainant, have so far been identified and interviewed, and statements recorded by detectives from them in aid of investigations. These include the following. Mr. Aloba Joseph Oluwabamiwo, the father of the deceased. Mrs. Abosede Aloba, mother of the deceased. Mrs. Kolawole Kemi Bose, deceased sister. Miss Aloba Blessing Oluwashew, deceased sister. Mr. Aloba Adura Ageni Shedrack, deceased brother. Mrs. Cynthia Adebanjo, deceased wife. Miss Sheyi Awonuga, deceased manager. Miss Adeyemo Boluwatife, aka Darosha, deceased personal assistant. Mr. Ajishegiri Sultan Ayobami, deceased DJ. Olanrewaju Idris Adedoja, deceased personal photographer. Mr. Idris Busari, deceased friend. Aderinto Ademola, aka Ade West, deceased friend. Mr. Adeyemi Olamide, deceased friend. Oladapo Oreoluwa, aka Lifestyle, deceased friend. Adesoya Adebiyi Dolapo, aka Ajay Singh, deceased friend. Fidelis Esabon is the driver to the Prado Jeep that the deceased hired to attend the concert in Ikorodu on 10 September 23, and in an attempt to punch Ibrahim during their physical brawl, Mohbad hit and broke the rear side glass, causing him injury on his right hand. For those of you that will be interested in, can look at the picture. That's a picture of the vehicle, the damage that led to the injury on Mohbad. Yeah, you can circulate. Mr. Soso Soberekon is the show promoter who invited Mohbad to perform at Ikorodu to promote his product, the General Bitters, on the night of 10 September 23, where the fight that led to the injury and subsequent chains of events started from. He has given detailed statements. Mr. Omoni Temidayo Raphael, aka Zlatan, he was one of the musicians that performed at the same event in Ikorodu on that night. Engineer Chinaka Jesse is the deceased neighbor whose vehicle was used to rush him to the hospital when he became unconscious. Dr. Olushola Joshua is the medical director of Kuramed Hospital in Lekki, Lagos, where the deceased was taken to and declared as confirmed as brought in dead on 12th September 2023. Dr. Beken Deborah Oluwatosin is a medical director who was on duty, and he was one that certified the deceased dead on the day he was brought in at about 15-20 hours. Ms. Fajulube Semitope, Ms. Abbas Aminat Abiola, and Mr. Oluwajobi Emmanuel. They are all staff of Kuramed Hospital who also witnessed when he was brought in dead. Dr. Owuala Chigozie is the director and CMD of Perez Medical Care in Lekki. When they took him to the first hospital, the Kuramed, and he was certified dead, his family members and friends that took him there were not convinced. So they took the body from there again to Perez Hospital, where he was recertified as dead. Then Dr. Temitope Maxine Olumuyiwa.
None. Like I said, it is for our own record here. So you can say, okay, well, this is what they said. And then you can compare them to what you know, not just what you heard too, okay? Then maybe we can begin to form real opinion on where this is headed. This is the part where the role played by each one of them that finally lead to what they believe is death, right? This is the part.
Residence in Lekki. She eventually came on Tuesday, 12 September 2023 and administered 3 different injections, which are believed to have occasioned the chain of reactions that directly resulted in the eventual death of the singer. She is the principal suspect in the death of Mohbad. She acknowledged that it was the injections that she administered on the deceased that triggered the reactions which eventually led to Mohbad's death. Other expert opinions and witnesses' statements corroborated her admittance. Her actions of administering doses of tetanus toxoid, paracetamol, intravenous, and cetrazone injection, which was also administered intravenous on Mohbad at his residence, that's Mohbad's residence, on 12 September 2023, immediately triggered the reactions, including vomiting, goosebumps, and convulsion, that eventually resulted in the singer's death. This criminal liability is further heightened, granted the evidential fact that as an auxiliary nurse, she is not qualified to administer such medications or function as a qualified nurse. She also did this in a non-clinical environment and in a professionally negligent manner that negated standard medical protocols. 2. Mr. Yobami Sodiq, aka Spending. Sodiq is a friend to Mohbad, who invited the auxiliary nurse to treat the deceased. He's been suspected of conspiracy in the death of the singer. His action in inviting a person known to him as an auxiliary nurse to attend to the deceased under a non-clinical setting occasioned Mohbad's death. He's being held for conspiracy to commit felony. Ibrahim Oluwatosin Owoduni, aka Prime Boy. He's a childhood friend of Mohbad. He attended the show at Ikorodu in Mohbad's company on 10 September 2023. At the end of the show, Mohbad and Ibrahim were engaged in a violent fight, during which Mohbad was injured. The management of the injury subsequently resulted in his death. So he's being treated as a suspect. Samson Balogun Eletu, aka Sam Larry, is a suspect who was arrested on allegation of being complicit in the death, as well as in relation to the videos that have gone viral about bullying and assaults, which in some quarters we believe perhaps had any link with his eventual death. He was arrested, he's still in detention. Abdulaziz Fashola, aka Naira Marley, was also arrested and is still currently in detention for similar allegations. Other actions that have been undertaken by the Special Investigation Team include exhumation, autopsy, and toxicology tests, which were undertaken on 21st September 2023. The results of the autopsy and the toxicology tests are being awaited.
So, for those who are in custody, they mentioned others and all of that. But I just want to jump over them quick. Here is another part, interesting part of their supposed police report. Listen.
And the death of Mohbad. Sequence of events directly accounting for the death of Mohbad. Based on investigation, this represents the sequence of events that eventually culminated in his death. On 10th September 2023, Ireoluwa Oladimeji Aloba, aka Mohbad, attended a musical concert at Ikorodu Town Hall at about 21:00 hours on the invitation of one Soso Soberekon to promote the General Bitters beverages, which is marketing. Mohbad arrived the venue of the event at about 19:00 hours in company of his wife, Mrs. Cynthia Omowumi Adebanjo, and their 5-month-old baby. His childhood friend, Ibrahim Oluwatosin Owodunni Prime Boy, and Mohbad's personal assistant, Adeyemo Boluwatife, alias Darosa, all of whom were in the Prado Jeep, which was hired by Mohbad for the event and driven by Felix Esambo. Others that accompany Mohbad in separate vehicles include Ayobami Sadiq, Spending, Adurabedni Shedrack Aloba, who is the younger brother of Mohbad, Ajisegiri Sultan Ayobami, Mohbad's DJ, Aderinto Fawaz Ademola Adewest, Mohbad's friend, and Olanrewaji Idris Adedoja, alias OG, his photographer. Other musical acts that performed along with Mohbad at the show included Zlatan, Seun Kuti, and DJ Fokati. At the end of his performance at about 23:00 hours, as he made to exit the venue with his entourage, he discovered that his vehicle had been blocked by other vehicles while some of his fans and area boys also moved in. Mohbad, who from witnesses' evidence was said to be tipsy and hyperactive, became infuriated, and as he attempted to come down to clear the road, Ibrahim, his friend, prevailed on him not to do so for his personal safety. This further infuriated Mohbad, and it eventually degenerated into a hot argument between the two of them and physical fights. In the course of an attempt by Mohbad to hit Ibrahim with a blow, Mohbad missed him and smashed his hand against the window of their Prado Jeep, causing him an injury on his forehand, and he bled profusely. Eventually, the situation was brought under control, and they all departed for the Lekki residence of Mohbad, excluding Ibrahim. Upon arrival at home at about 02:00 hours of 11 September 2023, Mohbad refused to go to the hospital to treat his injury, despite persistent persuasion by his wife, staffs, and friends, including the Prado Jeep driver, whose vehicle was damaged. Later in the day, the injured hand, which was still bleeding on the second day, started getting swollen, causing Mohbad unbearable pains. This is the injury. You may also pass it on. How it got swollen by the second day. So at this point, His friend Ayoba spending, who noticed the increasing pains, further insisted that he must go to the hospital for treatment. Mohbad still resisted and opted to call his personal nurse, identified as Nurse Fumi, who unfortunately was not available. At this point, Ayoba spending offered to call his own nurse to attend to Mohbad. That nurse turned out to be the auxiliary nurse, Ms. Feisayo Ogedenge. His suggestion.
You're following that? So the summary of all of that is that Mohbad had a fight with his friend because their car or his car was blocked by kind of other cars at the venue where he just performed. Then he smashed his hand through the window of the car when he was trying to kind of punch his friend. So by so doing, he smashed the window and he got caught and he started bleeding. So he bleeded so much that he rejected medical treatment for 2 days. And according to the police, probably with the corroboration of his staff, his wife, if we follow what the police just said, right? His wife and his staff, and then some of his friends asked him, or they were begging him for 2 days to go to the hospital, and he refused. Unfortunately, he's not here. That sounded off to me. I'm sorry that I don't have the intention of planting doubt in your mind, okay? But that stage, that part, just offed me at that point. Okay, so he's not here. And I want to believe that the police, they are reporting what his wife and his friends and his, what do you call it, people around him, told the police that he didn't accept to go to the hospital for 2 days until the hand was swollen, still bleeding, and they had to call somebody to come and treat him at home. That sounded off to me, but this is the concluding part where the police now said they have a probable cause to continue to hold these people, the suspect they have in custody. But the picture seems to be becoming clearer that Naira Marley, Sam Larry, and especially Naira Marley and Sam Larry would only be charged for bullying and assault. Okay, so but the nurse that has made a confessional statement that it was what she gave him that triggered what later happened and then the death, right? I'm sorry if it is becoming boring to you, okay? We just have to do this. Let's leave this on here, all right? The concluding parts, where the police now said what they want to do, please.
A short meeting resolved to move the body to Ikorodu for burial, which was done the following day, 13 September 2023, at about 14:00 hours. This is the narrative. Now, allegations of bullying, assault, and possible complicity in the death of Mohbad by Sam Larry and Naira Marley. During investigation, series of allegations of bullying, threat to life, and possible complicity in the death of Mohbad by Naira Marley and Sam Larry were raised from various quarters. This prompted the Special Investigation Team to widen the scope of their investigation to that aspect. Several videos touching on the allegations were analyzed and witnesses were interviewed. Many of the witnesses earlier listed, as the 26 witnesses, many of them alleged that the deceased was indeed bullied and assaulted several times by Naira Marley and Sam Larry and their gangs. It was affirmed that sometime in 2019, The deceased was allegedly signed by Naira into a record label known as Malian Music Limited. Due to disagreement in terms of the contract, the deceased pressed for the revocation of his contractual relationship with Malian Music, while also pushing to relieve his then manager, who was a brother to Naira. It was alleged that these moves eyed the suspects, who in consequence allegedly severally conspired, bullied, and assaulted the deceased. It was also asserted by some witnesses with corroborative video evidence that before his demise, Mohbad had raised alarm that his life was being threatened, that he was being bullied and assaulted by Naira and Sam Larry. Upon their arrest, Abdulaziz Abdeshinon Fashola Naira and Samson Erinfolani Balogun Sam Larry denied allegations of complicity in the death of Mohbad by pleading an alibi that they were both out of the country when the incident occurred, and they were not in any manner involved in the chain of events that occasions his eventual death between 10th to 12th September 2023. However, there are preponderance of evidence linking both Naira and Sam Larry to the allegations of threat to life, cyber stalking, and sundry crimes committed against Mohbad in his lifetime, and they are being so held liable. Interim findings. From investigations so far conducted, it has been established as follows. 1. The chain of events that directly and specifically led to the death of Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, aka Mohbad, occurred between 10th to 13th September 2023, and the location of incidents stretched over Ikorodu and Lekki, Lagos. Feisayo Ogedengbe, female, who as an auxiliary nurse administered multiple and highly potent injections, which triggered an immediate reaction that eventually occasioned the death of Mohbad, is the principal suspect in the homicide case. Feisayo Ogedengbe is not a qualified registered nurse, and her illegal and medical negligence are believed to have been directly responsible for the chain reactions and eventual death of Mohbad at 15:43 hours on 12 September 2023. The time within which auxiliary nurse Ogedengbe administered the injections on Mohbad, through his reactions, convulsion, and eventual death, is confirmed to be within less than an hour, covering from 1440 hours when the principal suspect administered the sets of injection and 1543 hours when Mohbad was confirmed dead at Kuramed Hospital. Aside her admittance to the consequences of her actions, the report of the medical panel that reviewed auxiliary nurse Feisayo's actions concluded that she went beyond her limitations as an auxiliary nurse by administering intravenously cetrazone on the deceased, and that this, from their review, was the most likely cause of the anaphylactic reaction, which could have been promptly resolved and his death possibly prevented if the disease was treated in the hospital. Ibrahim Oluwatosin Owoduni Prime Boy is also considered as complicit in the chain of events that led to the eventual death of Mohbad, as the injury that culminated in actions which led to his death was sustained in the course of physical combat between him and Mohbad. Ayobami Sodiq Splendid is also considered complicit in the homicide case for inviting Feisayo Ogedengbe, whom he knew to be an unqualified and unregistered nurse, to administer the potent medications that eventually triggered reactions leading to Mohbad's death. While Abdulaziz Fashola, Naira Marley, and Samson Balogun Larry denied allegations of criminal liability in the death of Mohbad and pleaded an alibi to justify their not being complicit in the incidents that occurred from 10 to 12 September 2023. There are ample electronic and credible witnesses evidence linking them to cyberbullying and cyberstalking, threat to life, assaults, occasioning harm, and conduct likely to cause breach of the peace against the deceased in his lifetime, following their roles in the incidents that occurred at the Chandelier Club and Elegushi Beach in June 2023, as well as the alleged assaults on Mohbad in October 2022 around the residence of Naira Marley at Lekki. Larry admitted that he had multiple physical confrontations with Mohbad to get him to refund the 2 million naira which he claimed he paid to the late singer for a show which he claimed he did not honor. There are documentary evidence, international travel records, confirming that both Abdulaziz Fashola, Naira Marley, and Samson Balogun Eletu Larry were not in Lagos, Nigeria when the events that directly led to Mohbad's death occurred between 10th to 12th September 2023. While Naira Marley was out of the country from 21st August to 3rd October when he reported and was arrested, when he returned and was arrested, Larry was out of the country from 4th to 28th September when he also returned to the country and was arrested. On the demise of the deceased, his remains were buried at Ikorodu by his relatives on 13th September 2023, prior to the uproar that greeted his death and which informed the launch of the homicide investigation. On 21st September 2023, the corpse was exhumed, and on same date at about 16:00 hours, autopsy was performed on the remains of the deceased, and vital specimens were taken and sent to Lagos State DNA and Forensic Center for toxicology examination. The reports are still being awaited. Also being awaited is the official.
Nigeria is so corrupt, which I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria is so corrupt, which I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria.
It is so unfair. I smell shit from all of that presentation, and I'm so sorry that I didn't say that to you from the beginning. I wanted you to see all of that and form your own opinion. I smelled what? I smelled a script. I smelled a stinking shit in the air. Number one, the police already concluded before the autopsy report or toxicology report comes out at all that the nurse, it was the injection given to him by the nurse that triggered what later killed him before autopsy report at all. That means they've had the report already just before the result is out. And they were very specific as well. Since Naira Marley, Larry, and every one of those they kind of mentioned, since they didn't really have physical contact with him, so at the end of the day, they will have to be charged for assault at the bullying, which indeed can be dropped by just a drop with a drop of a hat. That's how it's going to be dropped in Nigeria court, and that's it. That's how they're going to fizzle out. And then Nurse Feyishayo will now be the one in the front pages of newspapers. She injected Mohbad. It was the nurse. Now, that is a narrative that is going to spread everywhere right now. You understand? Nigeria police. I may be wrong, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything of passeo, but when I see a sort of a shady report, like the Nollywood script that you just watched for the past few minutes, I can tell you where this is headed. Okay? He smashed his hand. He was bleeding at a show. He was bleeding. This is somebody they paid to come and perform at a show, right? So they didn't take him to the hospital. So at least the way the police described the bleeding, that means it must be something so much that the following day it was still bleeding. That means he was losing blood. So as I sense Nollywood, I'm sorry. I mean, don't blame me. Okay, don't blame me. If you are from Nigeria and you know how Nigeria system work, then you understand that it is either I am right or I am suffering from the PTSD of distrust because of many of these kind of lies by the establishment in Nigeria. So it is either of them or both. I don't believe any shit that man said, the Commissioner of Police of Lagos State. This is where you would have probably seen, in another 5 years, you will just see them on, you will just see an interview. CC nurse that injected Mohbad, she has now come out with the whole truth. I was forced to accept that I injected him. I only gave him kiniko. That is not what killed Mohbad, though. You'll be hearing that later. And where would the justice be? It's already shady, isn't it? They've already started planting their own evidence. I mean, I would expect, what do they call those people where they do autopsy? What do they call them again? You know those ones where they carry out autopsy on dead bodies? And then they will come out later to announce what they, not police per se. Police is corrupt. They will be the one to now say, oh, when we check the system, or pathologist, God bless you. Pathologist, they will be the one to now come out. They will tell you exactly, if now for this part of the world, though, in Nigeria, they will do it as well. Perfectly. No error. If they will allow them to do their job. You understand? They will tell you exactly what killed him. They will tell you exactly the moment. They will describe the moment before his death. Okay? So if it is the laceration from that cut that killed him, you are hearing something about tetanus injection as part of the injection they gave him. But the police already planted that story in the mind of everybody right now. Okay? It is true. Naira, Marley and the rest are accepted that they bullied him. But they had their reason. Bullying is not homicide. Sure you get. Bullying sometimes, in fact, in this case as well, the police has done so much to establish the cause of death by playing the scenario that led to the cause of death. That alone, with police reports, Naira, Marley and everyone mentioned, apart from the nurse, everyone else mentioned, they walk out of either the police station or the courtroom just like that. Even though they are now saying they also want to, mind you, there's another point I almost forgot. There is another part of their report that painted Mohbad as drunk. Did you hear that part? He was drunk and he was acting somehow. They did not want to say maybe he was on drug. But later in that report, they said they want to wait for a NDLEA report because there was a video that Mohbad said they gave him something to drink at the NDLEA office. You remember that part? So the police in Nigeria started the story the 48 hours before the death of Mohbad. They painted it as somebody who actually started it. I don't know if you missed that part or you picked it up, right? They painted Mohbad as the initiator of what led to his death. Let me remind you. Police said when he finished his performance after 11 p.m. that evening, and he came out and he was in his car. There was another car that was blocking his car. So he decided to come down from his own car to go and tell those blocking his car to move. Then his friend, Prime Boy, Prime Kilekwe, Prime Boy, also jumped out of the car to stop him because Mohbad was drunk, intoxicated, and he was also acting out of place. That was the police report. So it was in the process of his friend stopping him from going to go and tell people to move. They started fighting. Here you get now, And he started fighting with his own friend that they were sitting in the same car a moment ago. That fight escalated to the point that he wanted to punch his friend, and he actually punched the window of the car he came down from. In the process, he got his arm shattered by the window of the car, which is the beginning of his injury. Drunk, acting funny, fought his friend, injured his arm, started bleeding so much. His wife was there with their son, and he wasn't taken to the reason why I'm not indicting anyone. I'm just saying that according to the police is relying on the reports from eyewitnesses, according to them. And who are the eyewitnesses? Prime Boy, who fought him, the Jeep driver, his wife, his brother, his photographer, is a DJ. These were the reports, according to police. So these were the eyewitnesses report that led to Mohbad injuring his arm. And he rejected to go to the hospital. No, I don't want to go to the hospital, but he's bleeding. The following day, that is like, let's say 12, 20 hours after that incident, they were still pleading with him to go and get medical care. He refused until his friend called an auxiliary nurse that just rushed in and injected him with 3 different medication that then triggered what led to his death. That is the story of the police. I want you to remember that, because there's still going to be more. So right now they said they are waiting for this report or that report. While they were dropping their own, the Nigeria EFCC said they have now received a court judgment that now allowed them to further continue the case against Naira Marley. And what is that case? Credit card fraud, 419 and the Yahoo stuff. Here you can see where they caught Naira Marley and his friends way back in 2021 or thereabouts. Was it 2021? They caught them with over 1,500 credit cards of different people. That was then, and they are now bringing that up again. And just before we go to our next convo, here is the, you can call it the highlight of what the police presented today. Again.
5 suspects have so far been identified, arrested, and detained and interrogated on their alleged roles in the sequence of events that led to the death of this singer. The summary is as follows. Miss Feyi Sayo Ogedengbe is the auxiliary nurse who was contacted and invited by Yobami Sadiq, aka Spending, a friend of Mohbad, on 11 September 2023 to treat the singer at the deceased residence in Lekki. She eventually came on Tuesday, 12 September 2023 and administered 3 different injections, which are believed to have occasioned the chain of reactions that directly resulted in the eventual death of the singer. She is the principal suspect in the death of Mohbad. She acknowledged that it was the injections that she administered on the deceased that triggered the reactions which eventually led to Mohbad's death. Other expert opinions and witnesses' statements corroborated her admittance. Her actions of administering doses of tetanus toxoid, paracetamol, intravenous, and cetrazone injection, which was also administered intravenous on Mohbad at his residence, that's Mohbad's residence, on 12 September 2023, immediately triggered the reactions, including vomiting, goosebumps, and convulsions, that eventually resulted in the singer's death. This criminal liability is further heightened, granted the evidential fact that as an auxiliary nurse, she is not qualified to administer such medications or function as a qualified nurse. She also did this in a non-clinical environment and in a professionally negligent manner that negated standard medical protocols. 2. Mr. Yobami Sadiq, aka Spending. Sadiq is a friend to Mohbad, who invited the auxiliary nurse to treat the deceased. He is being suspected of conspiracy in the death of the singer. His action in inviting a person known to him as an auxiliary nurse to attend to the deceased under a non-clinical setting occasioned Mohbad's death. He is being held for conspiracy to commit felony. Ibrahim Oluwatosin Owodunni, aka Cry Boy, is a childhood friend of Mohbad. He attended the show at Ikorodu in Mohbad's company on 10 September 2023. At the end of the show, Mohbad and Ibrahim were engaged in a violent fight, during which Mohbad was injured. The management of the injury subsequently resulted in his death.
Oga, good morning, sir. Oh, my powerful CEO, Judiciary Nigeria Limited. No, sir, I couldn't come to the office today, sir. My document. Which one, sir? The one I submitted? Yes, the one I submitted for my office, for my employment. Oga, it's not for Joe. I didn't forge it, oh. No, sir. No, you have gone to my school. Oga, I'm a director in this company now, and you know I've been working. Oga, I've been working with you for so long. I'm a director now. What? How can I? The truth has come out. Oga, you cannot sack me. Oh, you cannot sack me. Even our guy in our country now, or guy in our country that even forged his own too. They didn't. Okay, they didn't sack him now. They didn't sack him, but you cannot sack me. Oh. They didn't sack our leader in our country now. That forged his own. Okay, you cannot sack me. Oh. You cannot sack me. Okay, you cannot sack me. They didn't sack our own leader in our country, like Nigeria now. They didn't sack him now. He forged his own too now. I'm not the only one. No. You cannot sack me. Oh. Please. You have to forgive me. Oh. Maybe it's an error. Please. You cannot. I'm fired. Oga, only fire me, sir. You cannot fire me. You cannot fire me. Just to learn about our guy here. They didn't sack him. You cannot sack me. Please. I'm coming to the office.
What did you and say? What did you and say?
Ladies and gentlemen, as you continue to demand for justice for Mohbad, at the same time, you should pay attention to the scripts that the state would like you to believe. The ideal thing is for you to continue to ask questions. Ask them questions until they get angry. If they have nothing to hide, they will not be angry. But in this case, continue to ask them a question. Now, let's go to this issue of a certificate forgery, image of Nigeria in the mud. That was what Atiku was saying yesterday when he did a World Press Conference. I don't know if it is just me, or I don't know. That press conference didn't really it didn't really change anything. Like it did not make any effect, if not for the obedience. Those ones who are very much determined in their belief for a better Nigeria that is possible, PO. Better Nigeria is possible. And everything that is going to help, right, expose the rot, expose the criminal system in Nigeria, which they believe has been the roadblock against the growth of Nigeria and then the betterment of the country. So they will go for it. That one is causing problem already. Because, you know, Atiku could not get serious supporters. Now, you know, Atiku's and APC supporters, they are like money for hand, back for ground. If the money wasn't forthcoming, they're not go show. Remember during the APC election in Lagos, remember those voice notes I played for all of us here that time when people were lamenting that some people, they are given appointments. They are the ones who are enjoying the money. They are those ones who are fighting all of the obedient on social media. They are the ones trying to defend APC. But the real people, where they shop the money, all of them are in their different houses enjoying the money. They now expected all of these ombud slaves, sophisticated morons. You know, I'm talking about the Lagos Sabobakus. They were complaining, lamenting. If you want to lose, all of us go just lose. That was when they started the Yoruba Ronu. Hey, Yoruba Ronu, if we lose power, finish, no free money, no free food. You remember those times, those are the kind of people, Nigerians, that you will see behind Atiku too. And the moment Tifnumbu has been sworn in, Atiku's boys, not all of them, there were those who still stay back, or those who are still getting directed pay. The majority of them don't move on. I've been now no time until next election when Atiku is ready again. They go begin to shout again, Atiku for president, Atiku for president. Anyway, since this issue of Chicago State University expose on Tifnumbu started, and they started gaining momentum, it was the obedience. Once they saw it, they amplified it. They simplified it. They sort of make it so easier and interesting for researchers to be interested too. And you see me, I'll be researcher. So they got me more interested. In fact, you know what, obedience, what they have really done, apart from demystifying the traditional political system in Nigeria, demystified all of the lies you have been told. One of the other things they have done is that they have made my job much, much, much easier. I have to confess. These young Nigerians are too good. When you see any obedient anywhere, I'm talking about those ones who actually work with facts. They are just too smart. When you need legal interpretation on anything, they are just so too good. You know? So they made my job easier. Usually I used to always kind of having to do a lot of background check on so many things I have to share. Until last year when disobedience came, they became the Wikipedia of so many things. And wherever they see the truth, they will amplify it. Seriously, they have the audience. They were recorded to be more than 100 million all over the world. And that is true. And you can tell. The reason why, 8-7 months after your elections, they are still as strong as they were when they said they were just 4 people in a room. Give them their flowers all the time. I always do. They make my job easier. The moment I want to check on anything, they already have like 1,001 materials available with documents, with videos, with everything you want. All I need to do is just to check, go and double check that. And once I check 1, 2, and okay, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. Now just come on to MaiyegunsDiary, Politico, and I'll start sounding like, oh my God, this guy is so good. How did you know all of this, Maiyegun? Maiyegun, how do you know everything like this? Let me give the credit to some of the credit to these young, brilliant minds. Some people believe that they are doing it wrongly. that such energy should be channeled towards asking for the complete either restructuring of Nigeria or the breakup of Nigeria. I said, listen, they are doing well. Because in the process of them demanding for a better Nigeria, they will discover that the only better Nigeria is a Nigeria where everybody is running their own affairs. A lot of things they didn't believe until now. For example, they didn't believe that technologically, that the government of Nigeria, INEC in Nigeria, can change the rule of the game in the middle of the game. They never believed it. They have heard about corruption. They have heard about they have heard about rigging and all of that. Majority of them have never really experienced it. Now they are now living example with so much experience of what actually was wrong with Nigeria, still wrong with Nigeria. Now, if they are demanding for one Nigeria that is working for everybody in that same regard, I strongly believe in where they are and the path they are on, they will discover that the only working Nigeria is a divided Nigeria. That's the only working Nigeria. But they will get there. Okay? They've discovered that election cannot save Nigeria. They now know. They've discovered that judiciary cannot save Nigeria. They now know. And there are so many other things they will still know. But if you give them that time, they are all fast learners. Don't forget, this time last year, a lot of you didn't even believe that they could move a pen until the entire establishment in Nigeria moved against them, blacklisted them, called them threats, called them fascists for demanding for a working country. I mean, you had a witness. So they are all fast learners. They've taken on the establishment than the establishment ever prepared for. Okay? And in this regard, Atiku came back to be so grateful that there were those who made his fights and expose on Tifnumbu in America so relatable, so easy to relate with, and then convenient to understand. A lot of you today are now so sure that the mystery of of 44 years of a fake man called Amodaye Kene Shongolere, sometimes called Adekunle or Ahmed, until he's now called Tifnumbu, the mysterious man who has no record, whose life and everything about himself is a complete lie. 44 years of a falsehood, of a false lie. Unfortunately, he is now the president of Nigeria. Unfortunately. Now, all of his criminal past, his criminal lives, his criminal career, is now rubbing on the rest of everybody who is carrying the green passport or flying the green, white, green flags. So which means everyone, Tifnumbu's business is now everybody's business, whether you want to accept or agree or not. So because the obedience are so vocal, demanding for their own stolen mandates, Atiku came out yesterday to call on them and said, I so much appreciate you. But please, I want you all to continue to support and work with me so that we can make sure that Nigeria is saved from this embarrassment and international disgrace, whatever. This didn't go down well with Mikano boys. They were so angry. They were like, how come that this Atiku case, now only this obedient carry on for head? Because a lot of you they would have to pay you before you can even talk about Atiku. Since he is not paying, and you know they work for free, and you are waiting for Tifnumbu, so you don't want to waste your energy. So that's why they took it upon themselves. And as for the Lagos Abobakus, I have never seen people so, no. Listen to this one. It's one of them.
Lagos State. Everybody has their own interest. But for the fact that you've aided a political, you've aided your own political candidate. Let's give him a breathing space to serve the people, which he has started well. Thank you.
Let's deal with facts. Not
yes,
sentiments.
definitely.
Not sentiments. I want to deal with facts. So, have you taken our time to read the raw copy? Over 200 pages of deposition, because I want to interrogate the raw copy.
Definitely.
Have you read everything?
Yes, I've read it.
You've read everything. Are you sure?
Definitely.
Okay, good. So let me take you first to the part where the school talked about the fact that they didn't give the certificate that he submitted to INEC. You're a lawyer by training. There's something called the Evidence Act. Before you put forward a document that can be submitted under oath, it has to be issued by the authority issuing body.
Yes.
Mr. Tinubu submitted a document that in this deposition, CSU said they did not issue. Number one, what's that your interpretation of that? Secondly, if you submit a document, you claimed an authority issued and the authority claimed they didn't issue it. What's your interpretation of that? Secondly, Mr. Faratimi, I want to go straight to the facts. They talked about the case of Mr. Orr in the deposition, and I'm sure have you read the deposition fully?
I won't lie to you that I have. Unlike Mr. Azan, I haven't read everything.
Okay. They talk about a certain Mr. Orr that after they dealt with the certification process that left CSU, and they didn't know the circumstance at which they left CSU. They also confirmed that they gave Mr. Naira document, because some people have been lying that Mr. Naira didn't subpoena CSU. They confirmed that they gave him document. They even further revealed that the normal template that the president graduated from CSU was written many years ago, and they just used it to respond to email of people that make inquiries. They also further talked about the fact that they have no authentication as regards that Southwestern College. So the CSU themselves confirmed that they don't have any means to be able to authenticate if the records any student submitted to them is valid or not. Because I've read in details this, so that's why I'm asking you if you've read properly, because I want to deal with facts. So these are some of the facts on ground. Number one, I'd like to ask you, if as a lawyer, an issuing body that you claim gave you a document said they did not give it to you, and you submitted that document under oath, what does that mean?
In the circumstance of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, stricto sensu, there was a missing, he requested for a reissuance of a certificate. And this is the diploma certificate we are talking about. And there are procedures in American system of education whereby documents, not all documents, especially certificates, they outsource printing of certificates in their own system. Their system is not like the way we run our own education as in primary, secondary. So far, you have all the prerequisites. And from their own records, it's just like their records standing against them now. You cannot appropriate and reprobate. The finality, which I'm still telling you, is the fact that from the Atiku's point of view, they need to still subject that to a thorough investigation. And that is where we want to maintain.
Sorry, can I come in? It's obvious, sir. No. You didn't read the document. Hang on a minute. Because it's obvious you didn't read the document.
No. You have just asked me a question.
No, let me finish.
That's the same way
let me finish.
You always preempt
let me finish.
the person who's answering.
My brother, you know we come a long way. Are you emotional black?
Nuisance lele.
Anyway, just for the sake of viewers, the project in Nigeria for Tinubu right now is to help deflect. Did you hear that simple question? If you submit a document and the issuing body or authority says we did not issue that document, what does that mean? It means you have committed perjury. That is, you lied under oath that you are given that original document. So what they are now trying to tell Nigerians, let me explain this to you properly before we get on to the request of Atiku and the rejection of same by Obi. The bone of contention here is that Atiku didn't go to Chicago State University to go and confirm whether Tinubu attended the Chicago State University or not. Do you understand that? He is not interested to prove to Nigerians whether Tinubu went to Chicago State University or whether he graduated from there or not. He is only there to prove just two things. Okay? And that is whether Tinubu went to Chicago State University or not, whether he graduated or not, the certificate he presented to INEC in Nigeria, purportedly from Chicago State University, is fake. It did not come from the Chicago State University. That's the only thing. I mean, that's one of the things why Atiku wanted to prove. And that's exactly what he got from this whole drama. The second one is about his age. The date of birth. So, Tinubu lied under oath in Nigeria that he graduated from Chicago State University. He lost his certificate. Then he wrote to the Chicago State University for a replacement to reorder that diploma certificate. Chicago State University then sent him one. And Atiku wanted, and the one they sent to him is the one he presented to INEC. And Atiku just wanted to let INEC and then the law knows that Tinubu has lied. He had no certificate from Chicago State University. Okay? What he presented to you in Nigeria is fake. And Chicago State University proved that. And that is the reason for the headline. Tinubu forged his Chicago State University certificate that is submitted to INEC. He committed a crime. Now, you see, in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, in some part of southern Nigeria, the media is telling the people that Chicago State University has confirmed that Tinubu attended their school and graduated. But the only problem is whether he was male or female. And so to show that he attended Chicago State University, Tinubu, who told everyone that he wrote to Chicago State University for a replacement for a lost certificate, suddenly is ass lickers, crumb eaters, crumb chasers, shameless all risers are now defying other means to explain the story behind the fake certificates. So in one of their own reasons, they said Tinubu did not write the Chicago State University directly for his certificate. He contacted a third-party agent or agency. And according to these liars, which is what they are repeating on media in Nigeria as you are watching this video, they are telling them that all of us talking about this, we are just troublemaker, we are just noise makers. Chicago State University has confirmed Kolu is Kineko, you get. So they are now telling the people that in America system, if you go to school in America and you lost your certificate, all you have to do is to call Bashiru from Isale Koko, who is a graphic designer. Just tell him the type of design of certificate you want him to design. Bashiru will design you a very beautiful certificate. And that's it. You have your certificate. This is their new one. Before then, they were telling people that there is a third party that will always get the certificate for you, but they will design it for you. They have been authorized by the universities and schools in America. So when that didn't fly is when they change it to the other one. Okay? Well, take a look. If you lost your certificate as a student of Chicago State University, you would have to go onto their own website where you will make a formal request. You will fill the form with your details, including your SSN, social security number or student number and all of those things that will make it easier for them to trace your record. If you don't see that, if you don't have all of that, you will need to contact the registrar's office directly, call them or write them. But in all of this, Tifnubu did not do any of that. And talking about reading the deposition, they know they read anything because they know say if they read, facts go they beat them. To those of you who haven't read the deposition, here is the part where Chicago State University registrar Caleb Westberg under oath admitted that Chicago State University does not have any third party that is helping them to issue certificates. Also, the certificate that is being paraded by Tifnubu in Nigeria did not come from them. I remember, so you just go to page 29, especially from page 30, 31, then go on to page 33, 34, 35, 36. All of that is there, where it is confirmed that the certificate Tifnubu is parading in Nigeria is a total fake. If you want that link, I'll send it back to you. So, having known this, as well as the collaboration of the Nigeria Judiciary in ensuring that evidence are never looked into but technicalities, we know that they are going to throw all of the appeal out on technicalities. And that is why those who are handling Tifnubu, they have told him to just keep quiet, don't say anything, don't worry, let everybody keep talking. But let us make sure that the Nigerian radio, televisions, and the rest of them, we tell them what to tell people. So, Atiku said that Peter Obi, Kwakwanso, Obedient, and all Nigerians should join him to save Nigeria's image. In the hands of Tifnubu, he called for his removal. And he also called on the Nigerian Supreme Court to do something and save Nigeria this disgrace. But as Nigeria is divided anyway, Nigerians are divided along those who are saying, of course, he's a drug dealer, he's a certificate forger, but he's the president. Una go deal with him and live with him like that. And those who are waiting for either Atiku or Peter Obi to call for mass protests. Others who are waiting for the Supreme Court to legitimize this illegitimacy and illegality and confirm Tifnubu as your president so that everything will just go down like boom. Everybody you know what I mean? However, Labour Party came out to say, well, sorry, Mr. Atiku, for your invitation. Okay? We would not be interested in that. We are already pursuing the legal way to make sure that Kolu is disqualified and Peter Obi reclaim his mandate. And you know they believe they won. I believe they won. Seriously, I actually believe that Obi won. With all of the state-sponsored terrorism on you people, your voters card being found inside soak away, dumped away elsewhere, right? As well as all the drama that I believe that if they had allowed all of you to vote, and then they started allowing you to kind of count your votes, Obi would have defeated Atiku and Tinubu like in landslide. I strongly believe that, but they won't let that happen. And I don't think because I said that, I'm saying it because I probably like them. No. I'm saying we all saw what happened. Okay, we saw it. These guys, Obedient, they demystified that nonsense that if you want to be president of Nigeria, you must go to northern Nigeria and receive their blessing. If they don't support you, because they always vote for one person, they will never vote for Christian. They will never vote for an Igbo man. And all of those myths that they told us when we were growing up, some of us, as old as we are, we still believe those myths until Peter Obi and the Obedience came. They ravaged, you know, when they say Northern Nigeria, you'll be like, Northern Nigeria, 19 states. Because the jihadist North always love to claim the middle belt part of Nigeria. The real highly densely populated part of Northern Nigeria, the middle belt. They were shocked. And that is why their clerics, their Islamic cleric, their jihadist, provocative, divisive Islamist clerics in Northern Nigeria who were bragging about jihad and the Muslim. That's why they were so angry. And they are still angry. Seriously, they are still angry politically with that you obedient and then Peter Obi. You demystified them. They said you wanted to cause religious crisis in Northern Nigeria. Did you not hear that? They said that Obedient wanted to, you, Peter Obi, wanted to cause a religious crisis in Northern Nigeria. Because in Northern Nigeria, they usually vote in one way. Okay? Now, anywhere where they talk, everybody vote, there they will vote. Anybody, any Christian community that has failed to follow that directive, they are those that will suffer terrorism. Once the government, the Islamic North, the jihadist North, support. But Obedience came. They ravaged everywhere. Entered Kano, entered Sokoto, entered the Kaduna, they entered Benue, entered Adamawa, entered Zamfara, Nasarawa, Baba. They ravaged the entire region. Northern Nigeria no come become decider anymore. Story here long, Gisha, that they have to actually stop the uploading of results. And they quickly went back straight to the old way, which has now plunged Nigeria into where you are today. The product of that abracadabra, the sick Kolu, is the one that is now fighting legitimacy. I will continue to give you your card, your flowers, Obedience. They love to underplay or downplay what you achieved. You made powerful people that will sit down, pastors, clerics, that will sit down and predict conveniently of Nigeria criminal electoral system. You destroyed all of that prediction. And they didn't forgive you for that. And they still haven't. And they will never forgive you for that. They said you are working Christians in Northern Nigeria. For the first time. Okay? To challenge them. They still rigged. They still managed to shortchange you. But me, Maiyegun, I strongly believe that they would have hung themselves if they didn't tamper with the uploading of that results. Like if they just let everybody keep, as the results are coming out, as they told you, everybody, yeah, no violence, no nothing. PDP, APC would have become history today. So they sent them to far third, believing that if they put them at third, they will never have a chance of fighting back. Atiku and APC that have been in charge of Nigeria democracy for 24 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the 4 people tweeting inside the room, they defeated them inside Abuja. They defeated them inside Abuja that they couldn't even score 20% of the votes in Abuja. And today, the supposed powerful establishment with their structure, they are now battling and fighting the battle of their lives. They are calling on the obedient to come and kind of join them. And they said, no. Thank you for exposing Tifnumbu Atiku. Great job. Okay? You did well. In fact, you have actually given the obedient themselves more missiles to further shoot down this APC for as long as it takes. Because they are the only people that will do it in what they call the passion for Nigeria. When you see obedient now watching me, they will tell you how much they love Nigeria. The passion for Nigeria. The reason why they believed that Peter Obi is their last shot at Nigeria. Remember that time? Obedience said, this is their last shot. if the project Peter Obi that prompted them to believe that maybe Nigeria can still work, once these criminals killed it, they are done with Nigeria. Now they are saying, no, thank you, Atiku, thank you for at least doing this fight, Abi. No, we want to go it alone. We want to go and collect our mandate. So the Agbado Mighty, who knows that Shebina Nigeria, they will continue to remind all of you that when you are done hoping that you are going to get a new Nigeria that is possible, when you are done with that expectation, then they will remind you that wake up, wake up, wake up, enjoy your money. I mean, what's that song again? Wake up, Bera. Wake up, enjoy your money. I don't know, Sha. Anyway, it's actually something about wake up from your sleep. You want a new Nigeria that is possible. From that Nigeria corrupt judiciary, when you finish dreaming, you will wake up. But you know me, Maiyegun, Shebi, you know, say me, I kind of believe so much in you. I know what they will do to you. And my own expectation is that when you finally find out, what thing you go do? Are we just going to leave it for God because you have done your best? You have done your best. Everybody go carry with whatever you can carry. And chase these people and realize that Maiyegun that told you, election will never fix Nigeria. You didn't believe, but you kind of are believing now, right? Then judiciary will make it worse. A lot of you are now experts in Nigeria constitution. There are many, many young obedience that can teach you, all of us, every section of Nigeria constitution, every part of the Nigeria Electoral Act, every part of Nigeria criminal law. And they gained this experience just in the last 1 year that the Nigeria establishment decided to show them their true color. And what is that true color? Every normalcy, when it gets to Nigeria's case, will become abnormality. But sometimes you can't agree until you find out. So, you know, we do ask, a lot of you obedient also know that judiciary is going to fail you. But you are still hoping that maybe they are going to do it better. The Lagos Abobakus, the APC, Egbekegbes, they know that Tifnubu forged his certificate. They have also verified that Tifnubu committed a crime by submitting a forged certificate. Do you think they don't know? They do. The Supreme Court in Nigeria and the justices there, do you think they don't know what you know? They don't know all of this. They do. But they are more interested in your reactions. How dare you that you now know all of this? How could you know all of this? How dare you show an interest in knowing that the law is against Tifnubu and it should have been disqualified right away? And all of those things, how dare you try to know all of that? They are more interested in why do you have to know all of that? So because you now know all of that now, so you now want us to do the right thing because you know that he has committed a crime. So you want us to now convict him. If you didn't know that it's a crime, that is even better. Then that we are the one who are the ones to tell you that it's a crime. That is the way technicality work in Nigeria. You are going to find out too. They are going to throw Atiku's case out. They are going to throw Peter Obi's case out. So what are you going to do after that? You are going to wait for 2027? Or we are just going to wait for any action that is just going to make you be able to express your anger? I don't know, and I don't want to preempt you, but I promise you, from my own experience, the judiciary They are going to throw everything out, everything. Okay? All of these ones that you are hearing, they're going to throw everything out. It'll be Atiku. I'm saying it. Normally, you know, I don't like saying that. Like, I love to make you kind of, you know, have that 50-50 belief. But it seems that it is better we kind of start telling ourselves, because you need to begin to get angry. You see all this idea of you living in denial and dodging the responsibility. Everyone, you need to begin to actually know what is going to hit you. The Supreme Court of Nigeria will throw everything out. And they're going to attack you for knowing too much and teaching them their job. They're going to blame the social media. Around that time, Kalu will then have received the badge of honor. Hey! The real Kalu will then begin to surface. You see, an average Lagos Abobaku, before now, an average Buhari idiot, the Buharidins, they believed that Boko Haram's media handlers, those who received appointments from Boko Haram, they did a terrible job in countering all of those critics like Maiyegun and others, who are always taking the APC, Egbekegbe, to the cleaners, their corruption, their collusion, their collaboration with the terrorists, and everything that APC, Egbekegbe, represents. An average APC, Egbekegbe member believes that those who receive appointments from government, they are not doing enough propaganda to defend the government. Now them with the suffer, the original suffer Eddie. They born to suffer Eddie. They living in denial, the social media bandits, the Facebook ads men. They are the ones who are doing this human job in their suffering lives, defending the failure of APC. So therefore, the reason why Boko Haram's government was seen as a failure was because those who benefited didn't do their job well. They did not lie enough to Nigerians. The DSS did not arrest enough. The soldiers did not kill enough. The police did not detain enough. And they just didn't do enough. And that is why the critic of APC, they are always winning. And people believe them. So this time around, they are already attacking those Tinubu already gave appointment to. If you have visited some of these Agbadorians platform on social media, they are not discussing the forgery. They are not discussing the disgrace. They are not interested in the international stigma and embarrassment, where so many international media houses have now carried the story. Nigeria president forged his education certificates. Nigeria president is a certificate forger. Nigeria president is a known criminal. The president of Nigeria is a known drug runner. They are not interested in all of that. They are discussing how those Tinubu gave appointments to are not on all the media right now, trying to gaslight everybody talking about Tinubu's forged certificates. They are now asking the Voice of Nigeria, National Orientation of Nigeria, and so many other government agencies that why are they not coming out to change the narratives? Why are they not coming out to arrest those who are calling Tinubu a forger? What happened to the National Orientation Agency? What happened to the Ministry of Information and Orientation? Why are they not arresting the journalists who are carrying the news of Tinubu's fake documents? Why are they not shutting down or fining some of these journalists? These are what the humbled slaves, sophisticated morons, crumb eaters, crumb chasers, ass lickers, bat idioty, are now discussing. They don't want anyone to let everybody know that the whole world knows that Tinubu is a certificate forger and he is still the president of Nigeria. Kenneth Okonkwo, speaking on behalf of Labour Party, decided to respond to Atiku's requests. Sorry, no thanks. Say no thanks. Atiku, we will go and get our mandate from Ariwola. Obedient believe that they will get their mandate from Supreme Court of Nigeria. But obedient also, they are smart enough to know that they will not get it from there. And I hope you are actually working on what you're going to do when the Supreme Court of Nigeria gives you the final middle finger like that. I hope you have a plan. But from Kenneth Okonkwo, Atiku, keep your offer.
Nigerian thing. It's a shame. It is not a Nigerian thing. It is a thing of the leader because criminal responsibility is personal. He said he is fighting for justice. That's Atiku Abubakar. And he said the certificate that Bola Ahmed Tinubu or Bola Adekunle Tinubu submitted to INEC is forged. In that, I agree with him 100%. Because what is forgery? Forgery is the act of falsely making, imitating, or altering a document or signature with an intent to defraud. Was the document, certificate he presented to INEC falsely made? Yes, they have admitted that it was made by a third party, a vendor. Was it an imitation of the original? Yes, because they want to imitate the certificate made by the Chicago State University. Does it have alterations in it? Many. The signatories are altered, the signature is altered, the logo is altered. Everything about the certificate is altered. So it is clearly a case of forgery. And you know what? It is terrible that the documents that he used to purportedly gain admission into the university, he claimed he got it from the government college, Lagos, and he graduated 1970. At a time, the school was not even in existence. You know what? That makes it fake. It means that he entered the university assuming, without considering he was even there, with fake, unexistent result manufactured by him. And you know, you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. That has even nullified everything about what he said about Chicago State University. 7/0
Mr.
is
Kenneth
0,
Okonkwo.
not 7.
Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo,
he said he was born in...
Well, sorry, allow me to interrupt you a bit. I'm sure you know how the Nigerian system works. We cannot be the one to decide that the certificate is forged. At the end of the day, it will have to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will be the ultimate decider. Now, my question to you is this. Some people believe that Atiku Abubakar's call for unity between PDP, the Labour Party, and the NNPP is a bit too late. This collaboration probably would have been more fruitful pre-election and not now that the case is already at the Supreme Court. What's your take on that?
Oh, well, thank you. Like I said, it wasn't my statement that admitted that that certificate is forged. It was theirs. Because they said the release of the certificate will do irreparable damage to them. The certificate has been released and it has done irreparable damage to them. So it wasn't my own admission. Recall that Robert Clark, an octogenarian of his generation, admitted that his generation are crooks, in his words. He said, we are all crooks in Nigeria. Recall that Professor Wole Soyinka said his generation is a wasted generation. So that wasted generation of crooks are the people we are facing now. And unfortunately, Atiku Abubakar, like you rightly pointed out, who belonged to that generation, is rather coming too late. He had the opportunity in 2015 to stick to his party, joining others to bring about new Nigeria. But he decided to destroy his own party in the name of zoning, that they ought to have zoned the party to the north. And so he joined other people to ensure that the party was zoned to the north, even if it means siding APC. And that was how Atiku joined others to enthrone Buhari, that has performed worse than any other leader in Nigerian history. So the history of 2023 started from 2015. In 2023, Atiku had his constitution, PDP constitution, section 73C, which says the party shall pursue the aim and objective of adhering to the policy of rotation and zoning of party and political elective offices in pursuance of the principle of equity, justice, and fairness. A man who could not allow power to shift, who wanted to succeed his fellow Fulani Northern Muslim in the interest of injustice, cannot come to tell us to follow him in the interest of justice. So the issue is that when you want to go to equity, you go to equity with clean hands. Yes, he should tell Nigerians the truth. He is fighting to know whether he can become president, not that he is fighting for justice, because it was his injustice in not allowing power to shift to the south that even brought the certificates forger to come and become the leader. So the issue here is very clear. Atiku Abubakar should know that after contesting presidency for 6 times, time has come for him to repent from being a member of a crooked, wasted generation and join the new generation in the quest for a new Nigeria, which is exemplified by Peter Gregory Obi. If Atiku had joined this force earlier now, there is no issue of APC being the president of Nigeria. So I acknowledge that he is fighting for his political life. He wants to be president. That is why he's fighting. Not that he's fighting for justice, because it is his injustice against the people of the South, against the constitution of his party, that brought about the possibility of a Tinubu in the first place. So please.
Wow. I didn't see that coming. I have to confess, I didn't see that part of that interview when I quickly cut out that video. Wow. Omo, he actually went there with RPG new. He went for Atiku, like say, Omo, yeah, knock him. You know, those are like, finish him. Akilode. If I be Atiku, say, me say, we just sit down there, say, Kenneth, what happened? Kilode, wasted, crooked generation. And he is so apt. He's so spot on. Anyway, you know, Kenneth Okonkwo used to be a spokesperson inside the APC, Egbekegbe too. But since he left them and he joined as many others with Obi and all of that, he has been going about with RPG. The way he always fired them, seriously. Omo, I didn't see that coming. Okay, Ludi. You carry AK-47, come to fighting, what do you call it? Gidigbo fight. And so, yeah, we are going to meet tomorrow, 12 noon, man to man, no, gidigbo. And then the next thing, you appear with AK-47. There is more, but it's very right. Everything is said there. I endorse the message. By telling Atiku that, you know what, just it's time to call it quits. You know, it is time to call it a night. If nobody is telling you, I just thought I should tell you. And there's other part too. Please, Kenneth, a quick one.
That when a leader is false, fake, and forged, that it is a trivial matter. So you can imagine the level of the morality quotient that we have arrived at. Well, you know, generation of vipers will give birth to scorpions and serpents. And we have to tread upon scorpions and serpents in order to move forward in this country. How can you say that a young girl called Mesoma, who passed her JAMB, who scored very good grades, but because she was greedy, went and got third-party agents to write her own result and produce her own certificate? How can you say what she did was not trivial? How can you punish her for that? And then you have a leader of your country doing exactly the same thing, assuming without conceding that he attended the university. Then he wrote his own certificate. The same thing this girl did. And then some people are saying it's trivial. You know why they're saying it? Because they have destroyed their conscience and morality. Whoever ever came out on TV to make such a statement, mark my words, is not fit to hold any public office in Nigeria or anywhere in the world. Evil is evil. Criminality is criminality. Forgery is forgery. And the Supreme Court, by law, not just that they have the right to accept the evidence, they have a duty to accept it and act on it. Because by law, they say in exceptional circumstance, where the evidence was not available during trial, the Supreme Court or Appellate Court can accept the evidence. Again, Supreme Court is a policy court. Are you saying it is now a Nigerian thing to forge, laying credence to the allegation by the university abroad? Are you saying the Supreme Court will keep quiet and portray Nigeria to the whole world as a nation of forgers? The policy of Nigeria is that Section 137(1)(j) of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended is that whoever has presented forged certificate to Independent National Electoral Commission is disqualified from being president or holding any political office. So whoever that supports any such person is a conspirator to the crime after the fact. And that person also should be debarred from holding any public office in this country. So the Supreme Court, not only that they have the right by law, and they have done it before, they have a duty by law to ensure that a certificate forger does not become the president of Nigeria. Do you know? Go to India, he will be treated like a pariah. Go to United Nations Assembly. The people that even said they will meet him on sidelines, sidelined him. And
Mr. Okonkwo,
how do you want a leader?
Mr. Okonkwo, if I may step in, Mr. Okonkwo, it's not proven. If I may step in, please. It's not proven that the president is a certificate forger, and we will not use this platform to emphasize that. We still have to wait.
Man, see there for jail. Politician way in the post don't enter for power. EFCC chairman still there for jail. Politician way in the post don't enter for power. EFCC chairman still there for jail. Politician way in the post don't enter for power. EFCC chairman still there for jail. Politician way in the post don't enter for power. If you do government work, you go carry am for head, you. Maka one day I got Bokwagi na my own. In another government, you hear why you one day more. One day I got Boggy na my own. Yes, the German, no there for jail. Politician way.
Don't enter for power. Did you hear Nigeria media? Please, you cannot. It has not been proven that the president forged certificates. I told you, Even Arise Television, Arise. That's why I said, by the time the Supreme Court says there is no evidence, oh yeah, call you are confirmed. Even Rufai would have to leave Nigeria from that Arise Television. They will come for everybody. They are already on the queue. They no bond them. Now them go they control instead of the Nigeria media themselves, right? To be digging further and elaborating on it and exposing more. They don't want to touch them. Please, so there is no court in Nigeria that has confirmed that he forged this certificate. They know that he forged it. Oh. All of them can see that he forged it. Oh. All of you can see it. Oh. But we cannot say that. Oh. No, we cannot say he forged it. Oh. You cannot use our platform to say he forged it. Oh. You know there is no court in Nigeria that said he's forged it. Oh. Media in Nigeria. Nobody say they give them money, all of them money per se. Oh. But they pretended that they are practicing democracy. But they know what will happen to them. Baba, shege no be anything with nice. So your ordinary journalist, after all, is still a Nigerian, no, living inside Nigeria. That is putting on a makeup, is wearing suit on set, and you are seeing them looking like they get the same shege where they go through too. Don't let anybody deceive you. Nobody get job. I mean, not be everybody get job security right now in Nigeria. And you don't want me to say, go there outside, they won't arrest you. And you say, what did I do, sir? They say it's because of your program. Go there outside now. And then you see your studio manager or your station manager saying, oh, it's upstairs on your left. Go straight onto your left. I say, station manager, you are telling them where we are. Yeah, go to Studio 3. He's there right now. Left. Go down the hall. You are hearing them and they say, theater. What is going to happen to me? They say, follow them. We'll come back. We'll come and get you. Follow them. So majority of them are on your TV, pretending to be presenters. They know the truth. They cannot say them. The fear is everywhere. Imagine people will know that if people forge certificates. But they don't bond them well to say it because the judiciary in Nigeria is yet to say he forged it. I mean, come on. I don't know how you not deliver more, how not they cope inside there. But I can tell you, in fact, it is ideal to be living in North Korea. Okay? And it's all the same everywhere, by the way, in Nigeria. Have you seen Ade Jackson, Governor Ade Dancer? Ajo trophy. Ajo the governor. Ajo je governor. Senator Ade Jackson. Have he been Kim Jong-un of North Korea? Any day.
Security votes. Oh, yeah, get it for me, but I got to go. Order. Boy, Jackie Magba. And the Jogo. Thank you very much. Maybe sit down. I don't know. Be your battery low, lower than your fellow. So if I can sacrifice a white Joko, you know what? Problem in Nigeria in here. To buy the American don't sorry. Wallahi, one man for 20 minutes.
Nuisance lele.
Governor Ade Dancer. Do you want me to tell you what happened there, right? He was telling the people that he has decided to use the security votes for development of the states. And he was surprised that people didn't stand up and say, hey, thank you for 20 minutes to be clapping and say, thank you. Do you know what is called security votes in Nigeria? I'll tell you. The reason why people will kill themselves, right? to be governor or president of Nigeria is because it is the avenue for free money. There are some of the money that are actually like a legal corruption. Security votes is the money set aside to manage security in your state. Now, that security vote, right, depends on how rich your state is and how many terrorists you are able to have in your domain. Those are the things that will determine how much money you can always allocate to yourself. Now, the security vote, according to their law in Nigeria, is a money that nobody can ask any question about. So if you are a state governor, you can do whatever you like with the security vote. So what most people do, most state governors, they will allocate half or quarter of their state revenue to themselves. Now, those who share the money are as follows. The party chairman of that state, the ruling party in that state, including some excos, will take from the party chairman. The party must take part of the money. The governor is the chief owner of the money, but because all the following people knows about the money, he will need to share it with them or there will be problem. The party chairman, the police commissioner, the area commander from the police, military chief that share the same state with him, like military barracks and their commanders, traditional rulers like royal fathers and royal mothers, student union leaders from institutions in their states, student union leaders who collect their own rubber. Then you will then see other people who are like underworld guys and gangs. Although what they give to them is just peanuts. A state governor can take as much as 1 billion naira for security votes. If they have any insecurity in his state, he can allocate as much money to himself as possible. He can even use the worker's salary as a security vote, and nobody will ask him how did he spend the money. It is called legal corruption. Legalizing corruption is a free money. And 36 states in Nigeria and their governors are enjoying this. Don't ask me how much is the security vote of Rivers State, Lagos State, and the states like Akwa Ibom and other rich states in Nigeria. Your guess is as good as mine. Don't ask me of that of Bayelsa. I'm just saying. So you can think the billions that goes into private pockets in the name of security votes. So in Osun, where Adeleke is seen to be a breath of fresh air, not that it's better, far better than his predecessors, the APC, but he was able to free his hand from the usual cookie jar that others before him traditionally explored and exploited. For example, Adeleke said, by cutting off Alpha Beta, Tifnumbu's tax company that is collecting tax for Osun people and help them to the road on the road to the bankruptcy, he has cut them off and he has managed to save Osun people's revenue. He has managed to recover more than 60% of Osun State revenue that were never into the Osun State cover, which is great. He said this helped him to be able to kind of offset some of the debt and all that. Good thing. So it was in one of those scenarios that he was telling them about the security vote. I didn't spend it. I'm not going to spend the security vote anymore. I'm not going to share the security vote anymore like others are doing. We are going to use the money for the development of these states. He was surprised that people didn't stand up as their owner, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, and clap for 20 minutes. He said, this is the problem with Nigeria. I decided to not spend the money and spend the money myself. You guys don't even appreciate it. Look at you. And in order for him to know that, well, he's so alien to us, isn't he? You surprised us. We don't know how to react, isn't he? Sorry, okay, everybody stand up and start clapping. That's exactly what they did. I hope that satisfied Governor Jackson. Are they dancer? No, go change your mind. They spend the security votes now. Use them in Osun. The damages done by APC. Aregbe Mugbo Baba Kabiru. Oletola, àbúrò Yekini Shongolere from Iragbiji, the two Igbi Iragbijis. The damages they done is not just physical, it is also psychological. Kim Jong-un. Oh, sorry, Mr. Jackson Adeleke. Please don't turn to Kim Jong-un, okay? Sometimes when you do the right thing, at the same time, remember that these people, they probably they don't know how to react. Remember that common saying that we said, Nigerians were supposed to fight for their rights. Nigerians were supposed to stand for their rights. They are supposed to reject all this bad government and all of that. And then some people said, she been a person who don't taste good life, who have seen what, I mean, when life is good, for real, not Nigerian way of good life. Because Nigerian way of good life is that go and get money, buy yourself a nice car, build yourself a nice house, wear some expensive jewelries and all of that, and you see beautiful, beautiful women. They will be flocking around, I mean, flocking towards you because you are now successful. That kind of, what do you call it? That kind of mentality, so to say. But it is a bit different. I'm going to bring this up again. Just a quick one.
Security votes. Oh, yeah, can't today for me, but I got Jokoli. Oda. Boya, Jackie Magba. I had Joko. Thank you very much. Maybe sit down.
Jackie Magba. So, like I said, I am talking about real experience of what good life is. The one that doesn't push you to the edge. The edge that you are always trying to outdo yourselves. Who is going to first get out of the poverty? And it doesn't matter what you have to do. I'm talking about good life that you didn't really have to suffer. That is when you can begin to demand for such. How many Nigerians have actually experienced that? You know, life like safer country, okay? 24 hours electricity, standard, accessible, affordable healthcare, quality, standard educational system and accessible, where people actually like live for real. How many Nigerians have experienced that? So if you ask them to fight for your right, which right? They would rather pray, because they were born and raised in a system that says anything that the government gives to you, consider it a privilege, because you are always going to be on your own. So if somebody now come out and say, I'm not going to share the security vote, I'm not going to take the money, and he's surprised that people are not so happy, and then, you know what I mean? It's because they have no idea what you are talking about. Okay? Therefore, they have no idea how to really react. However, it is absolute show off and showmanship anyway. But again, we'll draw the curtains from there. Okay? I am going to, I was going to take calls, but I'm going to ask all of us to, let's see again tomorrow or next time. I hope you had a wonderful evening with me. I hope so. So like the broadcast, share it, okay? And you can still very much subscribe onto my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to see you again. And when I do, right, it's going to be for another interesting time. Thank you so much for your evening. And good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun Diary.
àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary na him be number one.
bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun Diary na him be number one.
ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary na him be number one.
Maiyegun Diary Diary Politico.
Maiyegun Diary na him be number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
Maiyegun Diary na him be number one.
ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Maiyegun Diary na him be number one.
àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ dódódódó.
Maiyegun Diary na him be number one.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹ̀yin bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ̀rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.